Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, a.k.a. PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast here on Blab. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis, and on Twitter I go as PD Beats. This is the podcast where we have digital dialogues from the worlds of social media, sports, and pop culture. This week, we actually have two episodes. We have today's Tuesday, so we have today's episode, and we have an episode tomorrow as well. As for next week, we will not have an episode. So tonight, we are actually hanging out with the Cats. We're hanging out with three members of the Moncton Wildcats, the Cool Cats. I'm going to quickly introduce the panel. First, we have Arizona Coyotes prospect and forward on the Moncton Wildcats. We got Conor Garland. Conor, welcome to Popternative.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. And we have from Fredericton, we have William Bauer from the Moncton Wildcats. Bauer, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. And we have, last but not least, we have from Connecticut tonight, but we have forward from Moncton Wildcats. We have Liam the Murph Murphy. Liam, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Peter.
No problem, guys. So usually what we do is we go around and, have you guys give some opening remarks. So Connor, pretty big year for yourself too. Pretty big year for the Moncton Wildcats in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. Final Four 2 years in a row going in the semis. It was also a big year for you, Connor, because you signed your entry-level deal with the Arizona Coyotes, correct?
Yes, around Christmas time.
How was that? Explain the process a little bit and what was going through your mind when that happened.
Well, it was over break, so obviously it wasn't a distraction during the season, which was nice. But just got to be home and enjoy it with my friends and family, so that was nice. But I think I found out when I was with all the boys our last night before going home, so it was nice. Everybody, they all congratulated me together, and it was a good time.
Cool, really good. And Liam, one thing what's interesting about this is the Moncton Wildcats specifically are a team that have a bunch of players. There's about three of you guys from the States on the team. You're from Connecticut, and you have Connor, who's from Massachusetts, as well as Cam Askew as well. What do you think about this whole concept of American players coming to play in the Canadian Hockey League?
It's pretty cool. I mean, a lot of Americans, they go the college hockey route, but we definitely have a few Americans. We got Garland, Askew, Malatesta, and then two Klimas from Detroit, and Willie Smith, also from Massachusetts. So it's pretty cool. We all got a pretty good group of guys up there.
Mm-hmm. I got to say something. You mentioned Willie Smith. I didn't know this. It might have been – he sings, right? Is that possible that he's like a singer? Because I'm 90% sure that I came across some videos of him covering pop songs, and they were really good. They were pretty awesome.
I think he just posted another one of him singing a One Direction song. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was for sure. And Bauer is here. Yeah, but Bauer with the orange juice. Something cool that happened with Bauer is Bauer was actually third place this year in the social media star of the year in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. You want to talk about that a little bit and the support you got from the Moncton Wildcat fans?
And most hits in the league, Peter.
Yeah, man, it was pretty cool. I didn't really know, what the award was up until this year, and, all the support I got from all the fans was awesome. So, it was pretty unexpected, but it was a pleasant surprise, so I was pretty impressed.
And like Connor just mentioned, he led the Q in hits?
For the playoffs, yes.
In playoffs?
Wow, probably averaging 5 hits a game.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Working down low with his boys.
Yeah. So it's because of all that orange juice as well, probably.
Yeah. He needs it.
I need my vitamin C.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, the Moncton Wildcats, again had a very strong year. Kind of picked it up a little bit after the trade deadline around the trade deadline, you guys had some acquisitions. You got an upgrade with goaltending with Bouchard, and you also got Vaclav Karabachek, who recently just signed his entry-level deal with the Buffalo Sabres. Just go around the panel. Can you just talk about like your favorite moments and what you really liked about the team you have this year, and what you can bring that to next year when you're back in Moncton, or Connor, eventually when you go on to play pro, what experiences you can bring. Bauer, Murph, you want to start, Bauer?
Yeah, I'll start. I thought it was really cool is how our team came together in playoffs. We struggled a bit the latter half of the regular season, so we really came together as a group. So that was good to see. We really played well. Like, we all believed in each other. We played well as a group, so that was awesome. But just all exciting for next year. We're gonna have quite a few guys back, a couple guys moving on, but we're excited for next year to see what happens, and we're excited to come back to Moncton to see what we can do next year.
Murph, do you want to add to that a little bit?
Yeah, pretty much the same with Bauer. We definitely had a hard second half. We went on like a 10-game losing streak, so it wasn't too fun, but we just came back from it, and I think it made us a better team in the playoffs. We faced a pretty good team in the semifinals and battled them pretty hard and never gave up. Took them to Game 6. So.
Yeah, no, there were some tough games in there as well. I got to see you guys play in Gatineau this year as well, and you guys took that series, but there was some intense moments in that series as well, Connor. Right? Like, Gatineau came out. It was overall, every series had its moments where it was like, wow, this is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, the Gatineau series could have went either way. I know Game 4 in overtime. They scored with about 9 seconds left. And then Game 5, we were down 4-1 in the third. So, coming back from that was probably, one of my favorite experiences from the year. And then, Game 6 in Gatineau was we came out firing up 4-0, and they fought back. So, it was a great series. Obviously, they were playing Rouen. They were a goal from the Memorial Cup, and we were there, in Game 6 with them. But, couldn't end up forcing that series to a Game 7. But obviously, it was a great year, and a great group of guys that we were pretty close, but just fell short.
Yeah, and Liam, I've spoken to you about this in person, in Gatineau. The one thing I've noticed about Moncton Wildcats, and you could say the same about teams like Rouyn-Noranda and Shawinigan, and I think it's one thing that I think is why teams like you guys got so far is, if you look at your lineup specifically, there's a lot of character guys in that room. There's a lot of character. There's a lot of leadership. But I see a lot of character. I see a lot of guys that can be leaders when they want to, can really guide and really kind of be those make it or break it guys. Do you think that your team, and even a team like Rouyn-Noranda, you can't disagree with me that they had a lot of character guys and guys that really came out strong, like Timo Meyer, and even guys like Myers on the defense. And on your team, guys like Cam Askew, Malatesta. There's just overall Austin Kosak as well. There was a lot of character guys, right?
Yeah, we did. We definitely had a lot of leaders, even like guys without letters on their jerseys, like Cody Donahue. He was a great leader on the ice and in the locker room. We just had a lot of guys that we all played well together and kind of played for each other, for the guy next to him. So
yeah, no, Bauer, like the character, and you bring a lot of personality and character to the team as well, right? Especially with the whole Barbecue social campaign and everything, and all the players kind of helping out as well. It's good to see that, because one can make the argument, and I'm sure you have a lot of people say that hockey players, a lot of them lack, personality and fun. It's all about hockey and all that. Just talk to me a little bit about that. Just about just talk to me about the year you had, and the character and personality that you brought as well to the team.
Well, I'm a little more loose, one of the more loose guys in the team. I like to have a little bit of fun and just hang around with the boys at the rink. Not the most serious guy ever, but I just go play hockey, I guess. So that's how I started my year. That's kind of the mindset I bring to the rink every day. So I had a really fun year. I got a couple injury problems, so that was a little bit of setback, but, I kind of rebounded from that. I missed probably about half the year, but, our trainers and everything did a great job, bringing me back and just making sure I was in my top shape to keep playing the rest of the year and get ready for playoffs and stuff. But, we had a great group of guys this year. We all came together. We were really close, probably the most closest group of guys I ever played with. We all got along. Everyone, hung out with each other every day. It was just it was just a fun year in general, honestly. Probably the most fun I've ever had playing hockey.
You mentioned Donahue, Cody Donahue. He's actually going to come on the show in a couple of weeks. He said he was down to come on. So I don't know who I'm going to put him on with, but I'm sure it's going to be a pretty good episode. But the one thing, Connor,
likes to talk a lot, so
yeah, no, yeah, no, it should be good, and like you said, the leadership. But the one thing I touched on is Popternative. We're all about the social media. We like having social media discussions, but. Connor, is it fair to say that, athletes or hockey players in general, there's kind of like a, reluctancy to be very active on social media and, tweet things because, there's a fear of, you're going to say something that's going to kind of maybe be taken out of context or rubbed the wrong way. Do you think it's fair to say, though, that, like, hockey players, are not necessarily, as active on social media because of the possibility of, being afraid?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of guys on the team who have, Twitter. I think I was probably one of the only guys that didn't. But, I mean, I don't know. I think guys usually shut Twitter down during playoff time or, tough stretches in the season. But, I'm just someone who, doesn't like, outside noise or anything else. So just try to stay off all that stuff.
And Murph, I know you're a big, like, You all are big sports fans. Like, as soon as I say that, Bauer takes off the White Sox hat, so that's a great segue. But yeah, no. So it's all sports, and I see Murph. You retweet some stuff, about the NBA and other things, but not even talking about hockey players, but like it's come up a lot that like athletes are not as active on social media. But the thing is, it's like I know for a fact all of you check things all the time. So just because you're not like quote unquote active doesn't mean you're not like on social media. You're just not posting things.
Yeah, I don't tweet that often about like what's going on or anything, but I usually use Twitter just to check what my friends are up to, and definitely I follow the NHL pages, NBA, like you said, just following up on games maybe I missed.
But why don't you tweet? Like I'm asking you, I just like why like I just want to know. I'm curious.
I don't even know. I think there might be a few guys that like tweet regularly, but I don't even know. It's just like I don't know. I just don't feel like tweeting as much anymore. Like nothing to really say sometimes.
Because there's a lot of players that have the same mindset as you, and I'm just trying to figure out, why. But at the same time, all of you want so many followers all the time that you're like, hey, can you help me get more followers, PD Beats? And I'm like, yeah, but you don't tweet anything.
Who asked you that?
Many people. I don't think I could say names, but
Not me.
I get my follow Fridays from Peter.
Yeah. Yeah. Bauer, I've given you a follow Friday a couple of times, I think.
A couple times for sure, man. I've appreciated it too. Thank you.
No, I like networking and I like people, meeting people. I know I asked you all to come on the show, but like I know you guys are friends, but like I also wanted to have you guys on with other people too. It's all about networking, right? But it's all good. We got the Cats, and we're really happy to have you guys. All right, now one thing that's really been bothering me that I really want to say is I want to talk about William Bauer and his bow tie because he has a bow tie that it's pretty fancy. Yeah, no, it's pretty fancy. I'm wondering if that bow tie, like this conversation we're gonna have about the bow tie, is gonna lead to like something next year where like when like the guy in the dressing room that has like a really good game, how some teams give like the fire hat or like the Kevin Spacey, like the Florida Panthers give the Kevin Spacey. There should be like the bow tie should be given to like the player that had the best game and they can wear it like outside the dressing room. You should do that, guys. That's just a character building exercise.
Yeah, we have last year in playoffs we had something that like the hardest worker had to wear boots out of the rink. Mr. Irving bought us all work boots, so we did something like that.
Oh. We have a jacket for nicest move of the game. It's a dress jacket, and whoever had the nicest move in the game usually puts that on. But they should probably add the bow tie next year. I think Willie Smith has a couple, and Bauer usually wears them for big games. So and he always wears them to the after season awards. So I think if Bauer got himself a nice bow tie, he could lend that one to the team. We'll see what he does.
Yeah, but no, like I don't want to mention names about like who's asked me to help him get a lot of followers. But I'm gonna segue to another topic, and Connor, I'm gonna ask you a question because we can't talk about who asked me for like what person asked me for more followers. But I'm gonna ask you another question right now. My question is, having guys on the team that like we mentioned, like the Americans on the Moncton Wildcats, and and Murph, you said you like grew up with like Adam Ernie, who's on the Quebec Remparts, or like maybe not grew up with him, but you knew him, right?
Grew up. Yeah, we're both from Connecticut.
Yeah, both from Connecticut. Does that help the transition, knowing that you're going to play in like hockey in another country? I'm sure, like of course that like helps the transition, right, Connor?
Yeah, I mean, obviously knowing guys who have been in the league before, it's someone you can talk to. Obviously for a U.S. kid and someone, I live in the hotbed of, NCAA hockey with BC, BU, Harvard, UMass, UMass, all the teams here in Northeastern. So, I grew up watching them and then, finding out on the other, over the border, there's great hockey. It's easy if you know someone who played it before you, and you get to ask them questions. Now that's something I'm doing, helping kids here, who have questions about Moncton, and just trying to help people learn that there's another side of hockey.
Mm-hmm. And Bauer, you could speak too to the Maritimes connection too. There's also a lot of situations too where a lot of Maritime boys go play outside the Maritimes in the queue, like go play for Quebec teams. That's for sure going to help the dynamic as well.
Yeah, I know. Like a lot of guys are scared to go major junior. They're scared like what their education is going to be like. But the Q takes care of it. Like you get money every year to go towards your education. So you're going to be fine that way. Like I know, like for me personally, like when I was 16, my whole mindset was going NCAA. So, I held out pretty hard, but Roger Shannon talked to me and just kind of showed me all the benefits and the upside towards the Q and what they can do educationally as well as on the ice. So, that was huge for me. It's a decision me and my family had to make. So, I don't regret it at all. It was an easy decision. I'm happy with what I chose, and I'm really happy I came to Moncton. And I don't really think about what would happen if I went NCAA. Once you make that decision, you can't turn back. So it's, I'm happy with what I did.
I mean, we do see situations, though, where players, start in the NCAA and come back. We saw that with A.J. Greer with the Rouyn-Noranda Huskies leaving Boston. But I agree with you. It's a choice. And Connor, what goes through your mind when those choices come up? Like, what are some of the things you think about when you're thinking about what career you're going to take to make yourself a better hockey player? Just in general, what are the questions you ask? What are the things you discuss with your family or your friends?
Well, it was a long time ago.
I'm saying just in general too.
Yeah, I just think it's none of the mindset as a U.S. kid not going to university. Like I said, I grew up watching the Beanpot every year. I was a season ticket holder at Northeastern University, so it's tough getting the mindset out that you won't be going there. So, but once you get past it and realize, if you go to major junior, there's no debate that it's the best way to play professional hockey, and that's obviously a lot of players' dreams when you get this high of a level to play hockey as a pro, and obviously. If that doesn't work out, you realize that the Q and the PHL in general set you up for the CIS. You can play hockey in university, go for 4 years, get your college education, and it's usually taken care of. So when you find out the details of what major junior, what the doors open for, it's not a hard decision to make to choose major junior.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. And the one thing we got to talk about right now is, in the QMJHL, there are the Maritimes rivalries. There's a lot of those games. We have the big rivalry week, and there's a lot of tension, between Moncton Wildcats and Halifax, or the Moncton and the Sea Dogs, all those. So I just want to know, there's going to be a lot of chirping, from fans and from other players. There's always that, but social media too allows for more of that chirping to be accessible, right? You guys have Twitter accounts. Someone could tweet out at you and be like, yeah, you're not a good player or something like that. Is that something that you think about, this whole concept that, man, social media now makes it more accessible for these trolls, or do you just kind of just brush that off and just play the game, the game of hockey? Like how does that go? I'm trying not to. I don't want to have that much of an intense conversation about this, so I'm trying to keep it kind of.
Well, that's why I don't have it, so I don't have to deal with that stuff.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I just get booed when I touch the puck. That's all I have to deal with. Nothing else.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
But I don't know. I don't think that stuff bothers the guys. Usually, it gives us a laugh. If I think sometimes guys read stuff they get, and we laugh at that. But I mean, obviously, all of us love the rivalry games between our division. I think a lot of guys' favorites are the Halifax games, where that brings a pro rank. The crowd's always big. It's fun. St. John's, nice bus ride, quick, and obviously it's been a nice rivalry since I've been here. Always good games between them. And just every time we had a Maritime game, this year was a tough game. So every game we were up for, whether we were on the bus or it was at home. So I think the rivalries are a blast.
No, absolutely. And one more thing, Connor, before I get to Murph, because I have a question for Liam specifically, but there's no surprise that you, Conor Garland, have gotten a lot of a lot of chirps over this year, especially. Especially you see it at games too. The boos and everything. You are this dynamic, speedy, amazing, skilled playmaker player. But this is something that I'm sure and I hope fuels you, that just wants you to be better and better, right? This is not it's not something that discourages. I'm sure it can be discouraging, but I've talked to you about it before. It almost fuels you and makes you want to be better and better, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to help the team win, whether I'm getting attention from the fans or not. So I don't mind it one bit. It's obviously people they're loyal fans. They love their home team. They pay to go see them, and they have the ability to boo or cheer, whatever they decide. So no, I don't mind. Obviously, it's good when it's a big crowd too. It shows the team, the home team, whoever we're playing is doing well. That the Q's doing well. We're drawing crowds. So no, I don't mind if they boo at all. I mean, obviously, I would love to go to Halifax when there's a big crowd. They would boo. But I still loved it there.
No, because I didn't. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
No, you.
No, I was just gonna say, because I think I've got PK Subban. I've seen articles where he says, all the booing and all the chirping, it just it just fuels him and it fires him up, right?
Yeah, it's a little different if it's the city of Toronto or a couple.
I know, but you're heading to the show one day, man.
No.
I'm just saying.
Yes, it is.
I'm just saying that it's gonna happen one day.
No, there'll be no. I won't draw ever attention like that. Obviously, major, junior in the NHL is a big difference, and But no, the PK Subban got attention from cities like Boston and Toronto, and I was getting attention from Cape Breton and PEI. So it's a big difference. The crowds are both as energetic, and that's different when it's 18,000 people and it's 2,000 people.
I look at players like you, Lehman, and you, Bauer, and you guys are not afraid to in the corners, play the body a little bit, play that gritty style, really get in there. Do you think that's something that we're seeing more in hockey in general, the gritty sandpaper type play. Because you look at the Stanley Cup playoffs now, it's guys like Bonino and Russ, who are really making the difference in those series.
Yeah, it's definitely turned into a more physical game. Even in playoffs, Rumble tells us just dump and chase for the first couple periods and tire the defenseman down. And especially me and Bauer, as one of the bigger guys on the team, we definitely have to work harder in the corners. Try to create.
Bauer, what do you think? Bauer, what do you think about that? The physical game.
Oh, he loves the physical game.
Bauer, the physical game. Yeah, and we lost Bauer. Well,
I can answer for him. He was my center sometimes. He had to go out there and protect me. He's too physical almost.
Yeah. And I think I saw it was with Craig Eagles, Connor, that video you did. There's like a video on Rogers, like where you had like the GoPro.
Yeah.
I saw that. And it's funny you mentioned that because you talked about, he was asking you questions about your style of play, how you go around a lot in the corners.
Yeah.
Like behind. That, I find you're seeing that type of style a lot too, right? Kind of like fighting in the board, like in the boards, around the corners type thing. We see that a lot in international hockey a lot too, right? It's kind of behind the net type thing, trying to make plays. We saw it at, the Memorial Cup too with Berisha's pass to Dvorak that tied the game in the Memorial Cup final. So it's the game, it's become this more and more, gritty, physical. It's not only about, the guys who can put it in the net, but it's the guys that can make the plays, that can make play the body when they need to. It's the game shifting a little bit, I find.
Yeah. I mean, the game is played a lot behind the, below the goal line, and you want to dump a puck in, you got to go get it, and it's below the goal line. And that helps when you're a big body like Liam and Bauer, and for me, I have to do it a completely different way. So there's different styles of being effective below the goal line, and Liam can be more physical, and I have to be a little more quick and stuff. So it's just different styles of play, but if you can do it well and it works, you can become an effective player.
Absolutely. And I think we're going to wrap it up soon. But Bauer, can you hear us? I don't think he can hear us.
Bauer's out.
Yeah.
Bauer's had a tough night tonight.
Yeah. Well, it's at the end anyway. Yeah, he's not even reacting to what we're saying, unfortunately, too. So I don't think he even hears us. But
he's still repping his junior A team though behind him.
Yeah.
Stock slam.
So, closing remarks to end this. First of all, Connor, do you like the nickname Hockey Cat?
Yeah, my 18-year-old my 18-year-old year, I think Kyle Thibault wore it out, but that was my nickname usually for the guys. They like to tease me with it, but yeah, I don't mind it. And I think it changed this year, right? What was it, the hybrid or something?
Those are two PD Beats originals, though. Like I made the Hockey Cat, right? That was me.
I know. You came up with I think Dash and Dane is popular too. I heard it on.
Yeah.
I was watching. What was I watching? The Hockey Central, and they talk, and I think they used it. They were talking about Winnipeg prospects, and they talked about the Dash and Dane.
Yeah, I also made Timo Time for Timo Meyer, and that's been used a lot.
Good one.
Yeah.
Which is
You got to get a good one. What's Bauer's?
If Bauer had a Q&A on Twitter, he has to call it hashtag the Bauer Hour.
Yeah, Bauer's is a lot of
I think
This is tough.
yeah, no, I don't. Well, I wish we can get closing remarks from Bauer, but unfortunately, I don't think he could.
Yeah,
He could hear us. So we're gonna wrap this up, guys. I really appreciate you coming on, Liam. I really appreciate you coming on. Do you have any closing remarks you want to say? Anything you want to close with?
I just want to say thanks for having us. This was a fun thing, so hopefully we can do this more often.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Connor, anything you want to say? I appreciate you coming on. It's always a privilege to have like players like you guys having your perspectives about social media and all that, because, we have a lot of experts talking about all this stuff about athletes like yourselves, but talk about the actual athletes is something really cool and special. So I thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Obviously, nice to see the boys. Miss them. Get to talk to them, and thanks for having us. And anytime you want us back on, we'll get Bauer a better Wi-Fi system or something, so we can have a full conversation.
We'll get him out of a Freddie apartment.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can get him here for the last couple of seconds so we could just have his closing remarks, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But yeah, it was great to have Bauer on. He was he was so awesome too with the whole Bauer Q social thing. It was really cool to see how into it he was. The whole team was really into it, and I think it was really special to see that you guys, were tweeting it out for him and helping him win. I think it was pretty cool, and I'm happy that it took off like that. We had almost a total of 3 or 4 million impressions for the whole thing, which is pretty crazy. Like, people were using those hashtags like crazy, so it was unbelievable. So I just want to thank the 3 members of the Moncton Wildcats we had this evening. Thanks a lot, Liam. Thanks, Connor. And thank you to Bauer as well. I wish I could tell it to him on the camera, but unfortunately it's not going to happen. But we will be back tomorrow with Popternative at 8 p.m. Eastern with TSN senior correspondent Gary Lawless, ex-NHLer and author now Patrick O'Sullivan, and as well as Sochi Olympic gold medalist in women's hockey and CWHL forward for the Boston Blades, Tara Watchhorn, tomorrow. So that's going to be a pretty cool episode. You can catch previous episodes. Well, sorry, what'd you say?
But you upgraded on us.
No. I don't know. It was good. It was good tonight. It was good. They complement each other. Yeah. It's all good. Connor, we'll get you on with Craig Button next time or something. How about that?
Oh, all right, that sounds good.
And Murphy, we'll try to get a good panel for you when you come back on too.
Sure.
So you can catch previous episodes of Popternative on our YouTube page and our SoundCloud page, and you can like us on Facebook, and you can follow us on Twitter as well. Thank you all, and have a great night.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.